Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Cask 529. I'm Brian.
And I'm Shona.
Tonight we're going to do a little show on Buffalo Trace.
We are. Well, I thought of this tonight. We've been talking about making a trip back down to Kentucky. And I know my husband, if I take a long weekend and I go to Kentucky, I have to get up at 5 a.m. every morning to go stand in line at Buffalo Trace. So,
Not true.
it is very true. We are out of what they call Buffalo Trace jail.
We are.
And so Brian's been itching to get back down there. I'm not exactly sure when we'll be going. We just started talking about it. But obviously when I get up and go to work every morning, the last thing I really want to do is get up at 5 a.m. every day that I'm off, only to come home and get back up at 5 a.m. every day. So I said, let's do a blind tasting and find out if it's really worth going and standing in line at Buffalo Trace. To be fair, you know, Weller, the special reserve, the green, along with the antique, we can get pretty often here in Ohio. In fact, Weller greens on the shelves a lot of times when you go into places. Blantons, they release that, you know, not super often, but on a regular enough basis where you can get it when you need to. Now, Eagle Rare and E.H. Taylor, they do release that here in Ohio, but not as often, I don't feel. It's a little bit harder to get. And so, to me, if we're going to Buffalo Trace, I feel like standing in line for Eagle or E.H. is more important. But then, is it really? Is, you know, Weller, the $23.99 bottle, my favorite? Do I even need to get up and go stand in line with you? Or should I just send Brian on his own to stand in line? So I don't know if our viewers, I'm sure a lot of you, if you're bourbon lovers, have, you know, maybe taken the trip down to Buffalo Trace in Kentucky and did that experience. If not, I know throughout this tasting and stuff, Brian's going to tell you a little bit about it, because this past February was our very first time. We've been through the gate probably 10 times now, but we've only actually taken, I would say, like 2.5 trips, because we started a vacation, went to North Carolina, then came back and ended it there. So
Yeah.
But in February we went for a whole weekend.
One dedicated trip, but
Yeah.
we went, 4 days we went to Buffalo Trace.
Yep.
So I'm going to say probably 6 or 7 trips we've made through the gate on our 3 visits.
Okay.
What I'm going to add that we found is during the week, and by that I mean Monday through Saturday, the gift shop opens at 9 a.m. The facility opens at 9 a.m. Sunday they open at 11. The first time we went, we were probably in line prior to 8 a.m. 7:50, 7:45, 7:50.
And that was a Thursday morning, the very first time.
And I think that was our first trip there, and I think Weller was what they were giving that day. And we actually didn't get any Weller. We each got Buffalo Trace, which is on the shelf every day there. Sazerac Rye is on the shelf every day. But Weller was the release bottle that day. We didn't get it because, like Shona mentioned, we can get Weller pretty frequently here in Ohio. We have a place locally that I can go. You know, obviously, if I go every day, they're going to run out. But I could probably go any day of the week and get Weller Green.
Yeah, we just stopped last night and they still had it.
Yep, and they had it today. They actually got Russell's 13 today. I didn't make it in time, but they had Buffalo Trace and they had Weller sitting on the shelf. So anyway, I think what we have found at Buffalo Trace, and I'm not telling you you can do this and be successful, but we have found that we can get there definitely as late as 10:30 or 11 o'clock and get the release bottle that day. Nice thing about that is you park the car, you walk in, you get your wristband, you go to the gift shop. There's absolutely no line whatsoever because the line moves fast. So when you're there and it's the whole parking lot's full of people at 8:30, by 9:30, pretty much that line's gone. Has been what we've seen.
And I don't know if that's, I want to back up. I don't know if that's really true for everything. I think Eagle Rare kind of runs out a little bit quicker than that. If it's an Eagle Rare day,
Yeah,
you
it
would
may.
definitely want to. But I think what we've definitely found, if it's Blanton's, Weller, or EH, it's normally still
Right,
there.
yeah.
However, no worries. Brian still makes me get up and go wait in the line. He's not
You
waiting.
can't be too sure. You can't assume.
So don't think he's that confident because he still makes me get up.
Both days that we stopped there while we were traveling, we were late getting there. In fact, coming home, I think we were closer to noon.
Right, and that was a
Blanton's day.
Oh, and
And there
that's,
was still plenty of Blanton's.
yeah, the Sunday of when we first started, you made me get up at 4 a.m. here in Ohio so that we could definitely be out of the house
So dramatic.
by 6 because we had a gut feeling that was going to be Eagle Rare, and he was right. He watches the website,
Yep.
so he was right. It was Eagle Rare. We got there just after 9 o'clock, and we were able to get it.
So one last thing about that. You're going to Frankfort, Kentucky, and you want to go to Buffalo Trace. What am I going to get when I get there? So I found a Facebook page, actually. It's called Buffalo Trace Daily. What is sold today and predictions for tomorrow. Once the gift shop releases what the bottle is for the day, somebody will find that and post it on this page. So you can watch the website. It doesn't necessarily pop right up and say, hey, we're giving E.H. Taylor today is what the bottle's going to be. You actually have to look at the inventory and see what it says is in stock to know to figure out what the bottle is. The Facebook page will actually say this is the bottle for today.
Yep.
I've seen that as early during the week as 20 after 8, and I've seen it at 5 minutes to 9. So, there's a good chance you'll already be in line, but maybe you are in Buffalo Trace jail for Blanton's, maybe.
So, in case you're not aware, when you get in line at Buffalo Trace, you go into the little check-in building, and they scan your ID, and they give you a magnetic type bracelet, one of the plastic bracelets, but has a kind of a reader type thing in it. And then you walk up the hill to the actual gift shop, and you're allowed to get 1 Buffalo Trace a day.
Per person.
And you're allowed 1 of whatever is the special release for that day. And so, but that special release, you're only allowed to get 1 every 90 days.
That's right.
So that is where the Buffalo
term.
Trace jail comes in.
Right.
So if you got it today, then you have to wait 90 days until you can get another one.
Yep.
Which actually, it works out great because it gives people the opportunity to get it and not someone
Right.
going in there and
Yeah.
buying all of it up.
And, in our case, we live 3 hours away, so it's not like we're going to run there every weekend anyway. So
Right.
it works out well. And they're fair about it, and it moves fast, and they always seem to have a decent amount for everybody. I've never really heard a lot of complaining out of people that, I waited in line and I didn't get my Eagle Rare. It's just never been an issue. So I'm sure it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but we've not seen it. And like I said, we've probably gone through the gate 6 or 7 times, which
Yep.
I'm sure there's people watching that have been there a lot more than that. But this is just what we've experienced and what we've learned. I think what we're gonna do tonight is actually taste the 4 bottles that are special release bottles if you go to Buffalo Trace.
We're going to
And
blindly taste them.
blindly taste them and see, is it worth standing in line for? See what we think.
Yeah.
We have had all 4 of these. In fact, all 4 of these were open bottles.
Yes.
So I guess we'll just start.
Yeah.
I see whoever came and poured these
Well, I lettered them.
lettered the glasses.
Yeah, that way we would be able to move them around based on which
And
one you
then
want.
we've got a key like we did have.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
great.
they're in the glass.
So we're going to start with A. Before I forget, we are only a few days away from our giveaway. So
We are.
if you have not entered, find that video. We're giving away a bottle of Weller Antique 107 and some Cask 529 swag. So definitely get entered for that. You have to watch the video to learn how to enter though.
This one I'm getting some burn on the nose. Just a
I'd
hint.
say a mild burn though.
Yeah, just a hint of caramel. Obviously this is my first taste of the day, and so I feel like it's a little bit proofy.
I'm thinking that too, so I'm gonna have to come back.
Come back to it, yeah. It's this one's a little bit sweet, just a tad. Yeah, I got that burn. But after I come back to it, I might not taste a little bit of char.
Yeah, I got the char. I think I got a hint of caramel in there. It lingers. It stays with you. It's got good flavor. It doesn't just go away.
Yeah, it's still there. On to B. This one doesn't seem to have as much burn.
No, I don't get the. I would already almost guess what that was.
This one definitely has more of the oak taste in it.
Doesn't have the heat.
No.
Doesn't have that.
And like you said, we have tasted all these before, and I know a few of them have been in the blinds that either you've done with someone or I've done. And I do remember liking Eagle Rare during one of the blinds that I did with you. But we've never done all 4 of them together.
No,
To
this
see.
is our first time. Nothing but Buffalo Trace products. So, the Eagle Rare for me, when we did the tasting at the gift shop, I fell in love with it. And then when we had it here, I was like, it's just okay. But judging by the looks of that bottle, that was maybe the first time it'd been opened, probably a neck pour. So that's probably not fair.
If you do get to take the trip to Buffalo Trace, if you haven't already been there, they do free tours of the distillery. Now, I will tell you, you need to sign up for one of those tours months in advance to be able to get it.
We've never done one.
And they also do free tastings upstairs.
Definitely.
So definitely take advantage of the free tastings upstairs. And if you like something a little bit sweeter, well, one, they always give you a bourbon ball, which is definitely
Chocolate covered.
bourbon ball.
Just
It's
goodness.
Just delicious.
Just
with a
goodness.
pecan on top. And sometimes they will make you a root beer float
They will.
sample. So what they use is the bourbon cream and some of their
Freddy's root beer.
Freddy's root beer, just in one of those little sample cups. And let me tell you, if you have a good bartender, or however you want to refer to it,
Tasting host.
tasting guide, yeah, see if they'll make you one of those root beer floats, because they are delicious. And don't be afraid to pick up some of Freddy's and bourbon cream for the hotel room.
Definitely not. If you like root beer, they sell it in the gift shop. And last time we were there, I got a 6-pack. That was in May, the end of May. I have one left. I've been nursing it. And I don't know why, because one of our local liquor stores actually handles it. It's always
But
sitting
it's
right.
different. It's special. It came
I
from
know.
Kentucky.
It's like you have to go there to get it.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. It could be, I don't know.
Like the Kentucky Bourbon Ale.
Could be
It's better-
counterfeited or something.
Better when you get it right from Alltech.
It is. It really is.
C is super sweet. I can't say
was.
it's like syrupy sweet, but it's
No,
sweet.
but it's really, it does have
it's-
a real sweet flavor. to
It does. It's really nice. A little bit of char with it. Just a slight burn. Not much. I could definitely taste the vanilla. Maybe even some toffee coming out in it. It's right now I'm kind of liking it.
You know, the Buffalo Trace line is pretty solid. Except we know how we feel about actual Buffalo Trace.
Maybe we just have a bad bottle.
Maybe we need to open one.
We need to.
But you know, when you and I first had Blanton's, God, what's that been? Maybe 5 years, 6 years?
Yeah, I don't think that's fair. We really weren't drinking bourbon.
We weren't bourbon drinkers, and we thought, oh my God, what's everybody talking about? And now that we are bourbon drinkers, it's, I don't know, I've always thought it was just okay. And I've been drinking more of it, trying to get my taste buds to say, hey, this is not too bad. But it's still just okay. To me.
We'll see. Maybe it will be your top pick tonight.
It might be my top pick tonight. And I know there's a lot of people out there that love it. And we have plenty of it here
Yeah. Well, we have enough to do our Blanton's
to
for.
spell our Blantons with our toppers.
Well, to be fair, we have 2 bottles that we have to trade with our friend
Mm-hmm.
because he has the extra letters that we need. But our goal is to drink all those bottles to create our own Blanton's board.
Yes.
Instead of just going and buying the corks. We want to actually
Right.
own and, you know.
And we have somebody, he may or may not be watching tonight, that we actually had to pick up his last letter for him the last time we were at Buffalo Trace. They actually sell the stoppers in bins. So if you're a letter short or 2 letters short and you've been looking and you can't find it, or maybe you can't get Blanton's period, you can go to the gift shop and get the letters you need. But we didn't want to do that. We wanted to drink it.
And you know, I was watching a bourbon review the other night, and I was kind of shocked. Here in Ohio, we are very lucky, honestly. I know it might be a little bit harder to get some products, but we can buy everything at, you know, retail price.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, I was watching a review about Blanton's, and they're like, well, if you can get it for 100, definitely pick it up. You know, if it's 125, maybe. If it's more than that, no. And I'm thinking, oh, I wouldn't pay more than the $65 or $70 with tax, whatever it is,
Yeah.
here in Ohio.
Yeah, but there's
I mean,
people that are out there, like she said, that, hey, if you can get that for 150, get it. I wouldn't pay $150 for Blanton's.
Yeah, so I'm just thankful that Ohio does do it.
We are fortunate. And we just have to be patient. And we've bought Weller here locally. We've bought Blanton's locally. And we have got D.H. Taylor locally.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever picked up an Eagle Rare locally.
No.
In fact, the first time I ever went hunting, I went for the Woodford Reserve Kentucky Derby bottle. And I kind of felt our local store was going to have it. and it's not allocated, so you could get it and something else. And they happened to have E.H. Taylor that day, so I got both.
This one has a little bit, you know, I've noticed all of these, they're not high proof bourbons at all, but they all
No.
have that, that burn when you,
It's a real similar
Yeah,
burn on all of them.
all of them.
I think the E.H. Taylor,
Is the highest proof.
I think, right? It's 100 proof.
Yep.
And the Eagle Rare is not that high, is it?
No, it's
I
only
know
90.
these aren't.
So the Eagle is 90. The Blanton's is 93. The Weller is 90. And then EH is 100.
Yep.
So EH is a bottle and bond bourbon. Weller is a wheated bourbon. And Blanton's is a single barrel. And Eagle Rare is a 10-year. And so they all have like little unique
Yeah.
features.
Something that makes them stand out from the others. So I've been through the whole flight.
Yeah, I need to go back through. I didn't really say much about D.
Just the sweetness. We talked about the sweetness. That was
I
it.
think C was the sweetness for
Oh,
me.
was it?
Yeah. I would say D, the first taste was the proofiest, and so I'm almost wanting to guess it's E.H. Taylor.
I got a snout full of heat on that one.
However, to be honest, they all kind of are about the same. The first round. I mean,
Yeah, the first round.
now besides C.
Yeah.
Right now I can tell you C is my favorite. But after I do the second tasting, we'll see where I stand on that.
Currently, we'll see how it all washes out, but I'm going to say that D is the E.H. Taylor.
Yep, that's the one I guess too.
Just because I got the most heat off of that.
Yeah.
And it, it could be fooling us, but.
And it's only 100 proof, so it's not like super high.
And I
but
didn't get it on my palate though, but I got it on my nose.
I got it on my palate.
Okay, we'll go back through and see what we can come up with.
Yep. We'll try to not dilly-dally too long doing this. But let's see if we can pick. Line them up. Brian always makes fun of my face when I'm tasting because he thinks I hate everything, and it's not that. I'm just trying to get it all over my palate to determine.
I can never tell if she's mad at it. If there's something in it for dinner that she's chewing on, I can't tell. It started with wine, because Shauna's a big wine drinker. And I would watch her take a drink of wine and I'd see all these faces and chewing, and she'd put her glass down and she'd say, boy, that was good. I'd hate to see it if it was bad.
I'd say B's smelling very sweet. Vanilla.
When we tasted B the first time, I would have guessed it to be the Blantons.
Is it, I don't know if I've ever, they're all very, very similar. And I don't think they use the same mash bill in all of these. I don't believe they do. They don't release their mash
Yeah,
bill, so
they
I guess
don't.
I don't know.
That's all hush hush.
But as you really take the time, and they're all almost tasting the same.
You could almost say, yeah. You could almost say they came out of the same bottle.
They all have their differences, just slightly though.
Just one or two things that are unique.
I will say, I mean, they're all decent bourbons. They're all sorry, I can't get it out. Enjoyable bourbons.
Promise you hadn't drank anything.
I have
before
not,
this.
no. And honestly, none of these they're all priced well.
They are. In fact, I don't think we've talked about that. Like we said, we are in Ohio, and we do get to purchase these products for retail. The Eagle Rare, actually, we can pick up here for $45.99.
Eagle's only $39.99.
Oh, I was wrong on that. I'm sorry. Which is even better, $39.99. The Blantons is $64.99. The Weller is the price leader of the group. It's $23.99. And the E.H. Taylor is the $45.99.
Yeah.
So they're all super reasonable.
C was my favorite the first time going around, but it changed on me a little bit.
I didn't really have one the first time, but I think B is now for me. And I know what's going to happen is that's going to end up being Weller, and you're going to be like, oh good, you don't have to spend any more than $20 a bottle.
I think Weller already came in first for you in one of the tastings once.
I don't think it was this one though, I think it was the antique.
No,
Was
I'm
it
pretty
this
sure it
one?
was that one.
That's
And I
when
did say that.
That's when I went and bought another bottle.
Yeah, and I did say that to you.
Of course you did.
All right, guys, not trying to take all evening here, but I'm struggling with which one would be my favorite.
Okay, so we're going to put them in order.
Yeah, but I'm not ready. But you go ahead.
That's a tough choice. I don't know what size pours that our friend poured for me here.
Well, 1.5 ounce for you, like you like, and only 1 ounces for me.
They looked like more than 1.5.
They were not.
They looked like they were like 4 ounces.
Well, they weren't. Well, I guess I don't know. I didn't watch her pour them. However, I told her 1.5 for you and 1 for me.
Okay, I've got an order.
Okay. Tell the viewers what we did right before we did this, why we're waiting on a couple things on the app that you can build your own bottle.
Oh,
It's kind of cool.
on the Buffalo Trace app, and unless, not the app, I'm sorry, the website, the Buffalo Trace website, and unless Shauna can remember to tell you exactly where it's at, you'll just have to look around for it.
It's buffalotracedistillery.com, and it says make your own.
Make your own bourbon,
Yeah.
right? So there's a tab that says make your own bourbon, and then it tells you a little bit about your main ingredients, your rye and your wheat and your corn, and you can choose whether you want a rye bourbon or a wheat bourbon. And there's several questions like where would you age it, like what level of the warehouse would you age it at, how long would you age it for. What else did they ask?
Your mash bill, what mash bill you want, if you want to use rye or
Right.
wheat,
How long you would age it.
at what level of the rick
Yeah.
house. Did you already say that? I
Yeah.
apologize. A proof. They wanted to know what proof
Yeah.
you would.
Proof, and these are ranges, like you don't have to pick a solid number. Like there was 90 to 100 proof, I believe, and 100 to 120 proof. Anyway, we both did it. Shauna's ideal bourbon that she made
Is
turned out to be Pappy's,
Van Winkle.
which we probably will never ever see.
Because, it said aged, how long? And I chose 15 year.
That's probably
So
why you
that's
got
why I got
Pappy.
Pappy.
Yeah, and I think I chose 7 or 8 year. Anyway, mine was Weller Antique 107, which is the bottle in our giveaway.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Okay, so CBAD, DBCA, totally, almost totally different.
Totally different?
Yep, this is probably the
We don't
most
have-
different we've ever been.
The only one we have in the same spot is B.
Yep.
All right, so do you want to do your first one first?
Yeah, let's do D. What's D?
So Brian has D in number 1, and I have D in number 4.
So favorite
So-
and least favorite.
This one I am staying in bed for. While
You're not waiting in line.
Brian gets up, and that is E.H. Taylor.
And when I tasted it down here,
Yep.
well, we both said that was E.H. Taylor.
We did.
Yep.
So I am not getting out of bed for that one.
I am.
So my number 1, which is Brian's number 3, it was C. And as we are tasting these, I'm going to make sure Brian puts them up on the screen so that you guys know what we're tasting as we're tasting. So number C was my number 1. And this one honestly shocks me.
It was Blanton's.
It was
wasn't
Blanton's.
You know, I mean, I'm happy sticking with where it's at, but I was really torn between B and C.
So that's your number 3.
Yeah, it's
my
my
number
number 3.
1. So Blanton's is my number 1.
That's a
That's a
huge
really
shock.
shock.
Yep.
B, we both had in second place, and that is Weller. I don't think that really shocks me.
No, it doesn't.
because-
It's a good pour, especially for $24.
Yeah, for $24, you cannot beat that. If you can find it in your area, definitely pick it up because it's truly good. And you know, it's funny because I don't know what I always thought, but I'm like, oh, it's Weller. You know, it's a $24 bottle. Oh, it's probably not worth having, but it's truly a great bottle.
It really
It
is.
really is for 24 bucks. So A, I had in third place. You had in last place. And that is Eagle Rare.
Eagle Rare.
And that shocks me because Eagle Rare actually came in first for me in another tasting that we did. I don't know which one that would have been. Probably the 10-year. I think we did a 10-year.
Yeah, I think we did do a 10-year lineup.
And Eagle Rare was actually my number 1 10-year
Yep,
bourbon.
that's right.
Today, it comes in last place for me. And it comes in, wait a minute. No, Eagle Rare comes in third place for me. I apologize. And last place for Brian. And I know that, I don't know if that shocks you or not, but it kind of shocks me because I honestly thought Eagle would probably come in first for me because I liked it in the 10-year. And I remember saying, wow, that's a really good one. I'll stand in line for it.
See, like I said at the start, when I had it, when we did our tastings at the gift shop, I loved it. But both times now that we've had it in a lineup, it's not done well for me. So, sadly to say, I'm not standing in line for Eagle Rare. I'd probably
You'll still drag my butt out of bed for it.
You can't stay in bed all day.
Well, I'm excited to know that Blanton's is my favorite out of the Buffalo Trace because
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
huge.
really, if you've watched our shows, you know I'm all about the pretty bottles. And really, out of this lineup, the prettiest bottle, I guess you can't really see the E.H. Taylor bottle, but the prettiest bottle is Blanton's bottle with the horse on top. You know, the rest of them, you know, they're okay bottles. Nothing special, but you can't beat the Blanton's bottle. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a nice bottle.
So, I will stand in line with you
For Blanton's.
for Blanton's, and
Well, that's
I will
great.
get up super
Boy,
early
so many times.
on my birthday
I
and
wish I'd
leave
have
North
known that.
Carolina to go to Buffalo Trace to
And drink Pilot coffee.
pilot coffee on my birthday with no breakfast.
We're not even getting into that. Nobody
Our
wants
friends
to
know
hear
that story, so one of these days we might share it.
Okay.
It was not a pretty story.
Our battery is getting ready to check out, so I think that is probably the end of what we have to go over tonight.
It is. So please don't forget to, this Saturday, September 30th at 8 p.m. We're going to be doing a show. It's not going to be live, but we're going to be doing a show. We're, at 8 p.m. here, Eastern Time. We're going to be doing the drawing during the show. It'll be random. And we'll announce the winner. So please, if you haven't already, and you just find our channel, please subscribe. Watch that video, learn what you need to comment, and let's get that done.
Absolutely. We've got a few days left, guys, so don't miss out. It's a free bottle. I mean, it's Weller Antique, but it's a free bottle.
Yep.
And not to mention the Cask 529 swag. I mean, that makes it worthwhile. Okay, guys, that was a lot of fun. Great lineup. Thank you for joining us, and have a great night.